None of us really know. None of us really know.
I know.
No, I know. Perfect timing, Keith.
Keith, what's up?
Your favorite movie of all time, F9.
Oh, good.
How is there any other choice than Remember the Titans being number one?
I'm curious.
I'm spoiling mine, but
Well, let's see. Here we go. Yeah, that's a good, good
I'm
question,
not even
Brian.
done talking.
you shouldn't be talking at this point.
And here we go. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Apocaflix Movies and Apocaflix Now, our weekly hangout show here on the channel, as it is the three amigos, the three OGs here on Apocaflix for tonight, for the time being, as we are getting into Villains Night on the channel. That'll be a little bit later on in the show. We're going to be bracketology on Batman's movie villains, which will no doubt create some chaos here amongst us so-called friends for the time being. Hope everyone's doing great out there. I see everybody in the chat. Rachel Samir, Johnny RD, Star Drew, Harrison, John Booz. I see all you guys. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Hope you guys are having a great time out there. I'm Jake Berlin, if I didn't say that already. And of course, I am joined by Jacob Barley, Gio Ramos. Jacob, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing pretty good. You know, I'm from my education job, I'm on spring break. So I'm just kind of hanging out this week, doing a little bit of side work and catching up on some viewing stuff. So I'm doing pretty good. I'm trying this year not to fall behind on movies. Like I do it every year. So I'm making sure I watch the new stuff when it comes out. So I watched Adam Project and I watched Turning Red this past week. Did either of you guys see those?
They're both on top of my list.
Yeah.
So you guys know I'm big into TV, and my TV schedule is juiced right now.
I don't know how you watch so much TV. That's why I always go to you about TV stuff.
That's crazy, man.
Well, a lot of people told me to watch Yellowstone, but you and your buddy that goes to the movies with us,
Dom,
I forget his name. No, not Dom. It's another guy. He meets us there downtown sometime.
Andy?
A tall guy, I think Andy.
But
Andy. He was talking to us about Yellowstone, and I finally started watching Yellowstone too, which Jake, you and I have talked about. Amazing show. But yeah, Turning Red is amazing. Not necessarily made for me, but it's a great film.
Yeah, it's top on my list. That and Adam Project, which we'll kind of talk a little bit about Adam Project later because there is a big giant news piece that dropped last week. Mr. Ramos, how you doing, dude?
I'm good, man. I've seen Turning Red through the many times my niece keeps watching it. So every time it's on, I'm catching a different part of the movie, like Encanto.
Which I still haven't seen.
Really? I'm sure you've heard the music though.
Right.
I was waiting for Gab, but our schedules are so crazy, and it's just
Yeah, so it's nice to spend time with my niece and at the same time catch different parts of the movie. I'm sure I've seen it out of order by now. But it's I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I just, I'm trying to still find my apartment in downtown. Some people that I reach out to do not hit me back at all, and I've sent multiple messages and whatnot. I don't know. It's just it's a thing. It's a thing. So it's a process.
It's tough, man. I do not envy you. I also don't envy the fact that you're trying to look in downtown Sacramento. That is just brutal. That is. I lived there for 2 years. I'll never go back.
Live in Carmichael or something. It's like a 10-minute drive. Come on, downtown Sac. It's gonna be crazy.
Gio's trying to get the party club life going.
I think so. I'll come visit.
Catch up. You'll come visit. Okay.
Yeah, when I'm in the mood for that lifestyle, I'll come visit.
Yeah. So look, we're gonna be getting into some Batman villains here in just a little bit. We have two quick news stories to cover before we get into the bracket that we have scheduled, and I'm sure most of you have seen it on either Twitter. If you're part of a POV Discord, I also posted it in there for everybody to check out, and there was a large sum of people arguing about the fact that there was no Heath Ledger. There's a reason. There is a reason, everyone. So chill out.
Man.
But before we get to the actual news topics, we do start the show every single week with a little topic here that we like to call the movie watching challenge. And we have kind of adjusted it over the last month or so, and it's been working out really well. So if you want to hear my thoughts on everything Enter the Dragon, the video is up on the channel. You can listen to my thoughts. I watched it. All I would say is, Gio, you finally got me to watch the movie, and it's a great, great movie. That is all I will say. Go check out my thoughts on that. It's up on the channel. And then I get a chance to actually challenge someone. And this time I left it either between Keith and Brian. And I, on the video, I said, you know, we've had such a great run of like incredible, dramatic, Oscar epic all-time movies of all of us watching these great, great movies, specifically you, Jacob, like that have like left marks.
Some heavy hitters.
Like they've left marks on the history of cinema. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go a little fun. I'm going to go something that is so different, but right up Brian's alley. And I challenged him to Eurotrip. He has never seen Eurotrip. And so I mean, look, Scotty doesn't know, me Scoozy. Like it's such a quotable film. And the fact that Brian hasn't seen it is pretty shocking. But I'm very excited to hear his thoughts. So
just the thought of that movie, I can't stop smiling. It's so look,
it'd be such a great watch along movie.
We've talked about this movie for years.
Yes.
Either Brian watching it or a watch along movie. I can't wait for Brian to watch this.
I'm hoping. I'm hoping that he really, really likes it. It feels like a Brian movie. I hope it's dumb enough and ridiculous enough that it's right up his alley. Gio, you've seen it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just making sure. Just making sure. But yeah, so Brian will be watching Eurotrip this week. He is currently at kickball, so he will not be here tonight. Keith will be joining us about 7:45-ish around there for the bracket. And you'll hear Brian's thoughts on a separate video, a review for Eurotrip, and then he'll be challenging someone who is not myself or Gio. So it'll be either Jacob or Keith this time around. So yeah, let's go and move on for that. And let's get into our first topic, gentlemen. We got another Disney Plus Marvel trailer today. One that has been in the works since the very beginning of this whole Disney Plus era of the MCU. Is one of the very first ones that was announced. And we've heard the rumblings, and we know that she's going to be appearing and also having quite a big part in Captain Marvel 2, titled The Marvels. Miss Marvel, officially, we have our first look at this trailer. Kamala Khan is making her MCU debut. It currently looks like Gio is actually watching the trailer. So, Jacob.
Oh, man.
Jacob, I'll go to you first, man. What did you think about this trailer?
Ever since... I watched this like 15 minutes before we hopped on, and I still have the song stuck in my head. I think it's
such great music choice.
Yeah, I think it's is it The Weeknd? Is that who it is? Yeah, so such a great song, and it fit in so well. Look, I don't know too much about this character. My only interactions with her are from like the Captain Marvel comics, and then the video game, the Avengers video game, because you play as her, like she's the main character in the video game. So I learned most of my stuff from that video game about her. And so seeing this adaptation, it looks really cool. I mean, I'm sure you guys talked about it, but the comic stuff, like how it has the bubble quotes, and
I hope it's like that the whole time.
How she's imagining like devil horns on the girl that she doesn't like. I'm wondering I love that touch, by the way, because look, she's a fangirl.
Yeah.
So, and like who had like fanboys, fangirls, whoever who hasn't imagined those type of things before, like when they're walking around or something like that. So it really plays into, because she loves Captain Marvel, she loves Carol Danvers, and she has posters and stuff. And it wouldn't make sense if you had Shang-Chi walking around and seeing those stuff, but it makes sense for her because
for a young high school girl,
exactly. So it's not random, like it works for the show. And do you think it's gonna be all the time? Like, even
I hope so. I actually really
cool.
I really do want it to be the entire time. I think
even
it
when
would
she's
be really
fighting
cool.
villains and stuff, like we see that some stuff.
I mean, she's like a 14-year-old kid, right? She's becoming a superhero. It's very similar to like Shazam. Shazam didn't have the eccentric of like imagining what's on people's heads, but it was very, for lack of a better term, kiddie in that sense, just because you're a 14-year-old kid becoming a superhero. And it would be a nice touch to kind of differentiate her and her age and her fangirlness compared to what like the seriousness of someone like Captain Marvel or Valkyrie, etc. Right?
True.
But yeah, a lot of people are pointing out in the comics, or in the comments, excuse me. They actually had to change a lot of her for the show to work.
That's what it seems like. I was wondering about her powers. They look a little different.
Yeah, so in the comics, and Gordon asked, and then Andy confirmed, she's actually an Inhuman, which we've seen from that show. And then Inhumans played a huge part in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which if you have not watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., highly recommend finishing that show. It really finished on a strong suit. But she, at the moment anyway, she doesn't seem to be an Inhuman. And her powers in the comics can be very relatable to one like Green Lantern, where she can kind of like imagine stuff, but it's an actual ability, like it's a power within her. In the show, it at the moment anyway, it looks like the bracelets are a huge part of how she gets this ability.
That's what it looks like
from what the trailer kind of like led us to believe. So I'm interested. Sorry, guys. I'm interested in what's going to happen with her character and how it works. Maybe she like develops it over time. Almost like Spider-Man, right? Like he kind of developed the web over time and the abilities like within his body.
And he didn't discover his spider sense till later and things like that.
That would be kind of cool if things kind of like develop as she grows, because she is technically going through adolescence and puberty and all that stuff, right? Like, what if that stuff just kind of starts to click as she gets older, which would kind of be a cool progression for her. But I mean, look, she's a fangirl. She's us. Yeah. She's essentially us.
Yeah.
All these characters. And it's going to be really cool to see the relationship. And then when she eventually does meet Carol Danvers, that like, what, like that impact on her.
Yeah.
Plus, obviously, the big thing is the representation of, her race and where she comes from and her family and everything is going to be a big part of it. And that's what a lot of these shows have been doing. I mean, we're going to see the same thing with Moon Knight, with that character as well. So I think there's a lot of pluses. But to answer your original question, Jacob, I really do hope like the drawings and everything, the comic strips, they're there the entire time. I really do hope so.
I agree. And I'll just finish before Gio goes. I'm glad they're making this show for multiple reasons. For this character, to have a 14-year-old girl superhero in the MCU, for the representation, all that. But it wasn't at the top of my list. Like, I wasn't most excited for this show. Also, I'm upset that they're making Captain Marvel 2 a team-up movie, and we've talked about that before. But this trailer got me more excited for the show and got me to be more acceptable about Captain Marvel 2 being a team-up movie. So that's all I'll say. It was a good trailer.
Gio, immediate reaction?
That was quite fun, actually. I enjoyed the style of the trailer, and that's probably what the show is going to be. I don't know. For some reason, I immediately thought of Juno, and then like,
oh my god, great, but without the absolute vulgarity of that show or movie.
Yeah.
Disney would shock me. What if they just said, okay, you know that mature parental guidance thing? Yeah, Miss Marvel's going in there. Like, no way.
Did Juno do that drawing stuff the whole time? I haven't watched that movie in so long.
They did when they like switch from fall to winter to spring.
And okay, that's right. Yeah, it wasn't the whole entire movie. That's
intro,
right.
The intro especially. Yeah, love that movie. Check it out if you haven't seen it. But yeah, I essentially agree with what you guys said. You know, she's a fangirl. You know, like it was nice to have like another Avengers shirt, and you know, just picture me another Justice League shirt. Damn right. And
it's actually the same Justice League shirt.
Say what?
It's not another, it's the same.
Right, I have like 6 of these. Yeah. No, but I mean, like you guys have said, it's a lot of fun, you know. And I'm curious. I think we'll see Carol Danvers in this show at some point. There's no way.
Really?
This has to lead into her movie.
I think it's going to happen at the very end of the series.
Just, you know what? Hopefully, when she shows up, they don't just show her from the neck down,
or her silhouette.
They're not going to pull a WB on this one. No, I agree with you. I think because we know that she's in Captain Marvel 2, right? And it would make sense for them to tie it together somehow and let fans who may not know that she's in Captain Marvel 2, have Captain Marvel come up and be like, oh, like, let's do this or whatever happens. And then people are going to be like, oh, okay. She's going to be in Captain Marvel 2 with Carol Danvers. Like, that makes sense. Because people who read in, like, who aren't massive comic book people or pay attention to movie news, they're not going to know that character is in Captain Marvel 2.
That's true.
They're not.
Sure.
And also a cool point about this is that, and I'm not 100% sure on every single Disney Plus series that has been announced, but as far as the new characters that are getting Disney Plus series, she is the only one to actually be confirmed to appear in a movie going forward. Not Kate Bishop, not Moon Knight, not She-Hulk. Miss Marvel is the one that's been pushed forward first. So that's a pretty big deal.
A good point.
So people should be pretty interested in what they're going to do with this, because I bet you they have some pretty decent plans with this character. Because if this character, if she ends up being a hit, she's only 14. She can be around for a decade. She can be around for a very, very long time.
Oh, she's gonna pull a Hugh Jackman, where she's gonna be 20 years of that. But even if this is not the biggest Disney Plus show, the beauty of the fact that she will be in the Marvels.
Just call it Captain Marvel 2. That's what it should be called.
Yeah.
When people go and watch that movie, for a lot of people, it's going to be their first, time seeing. I wanted to say Kamala Harris. Wow. Kamala
Khan.
Kamala
Yeah.
Khan. Wow. Whoa.
Wow. That's just good to you.
But then they'll go back and be like, oh, wait, Miss Marvel has a Disney Plus show?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
There you go.
I've been paying for Disney Plus. I didn't even know about that. Story of a lot of people. Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, I think you guys just made me think of something like, so Brian, or I work out of elementary school. So me and Brian work at the same school, but he's on the high school side. And 10-year-old kids aren't as into the MCU as you think they are.
Yeah.
Like they watch the big ones and they watch like the Spider-Man movies, but they don't watch all of them. So they're going to be really drawn to this type of show.
Yeah.
And I could see a lot of kids talking about this show and it entering the pop culture sphere. With the younger crowd. So I think Marvel's kind of reaching for a little bit of a different demographic with this show. And I think it's going to work. Honestly.
Agreed.
Yeah.
100% agree. All right. Any final thoughts on Miss Marvel before we get into the next news topic?
Is she a cool playable character in that Avengers game?
Yes. Her powers are so fun to use in the video game.
I'm curious. Her powers are probably closer to the comic.
They're just like the
power.
comics. Yeah. They're
so
not
it's
like
probably going to be a little
movie.
different in the MCU,
Yeah.
but
Mm-hmm.
from what I've heard, because I haven't read a lot about her, from what I've heard, she's actually a pretty cool character. So
yeah, absolutely. And I only played like the first hour of the game because I always give up, but you get to play as her the whole time. So
wow. All right. So that just means don't trust Jacob with anything because he just gives up.
No video games. I can't finish them. I've never finished one.
All right. Before we get into our next topic, which is Deadpool 3, we have our fourth member here tonight. He has joined us. He is here a little early, and that is one Mr. Keith Barnes.
Hey,
What's up, buddy?
What's going on, guys? I'm early/late/early.
Yes, you're early for Keith time. For sure.
Yeah, you're 20 minutes early on Keith time, which is nice.
Yes.
But yeah, so look, perfect timing, Keith, because we are talking some official news on Deadpool 3.
Sweet.
Deadpool 3 is officially moving forward at the MCU Marvel Studios. It was announced last week that Sean Levy, who is well known, he directed Real Steel. He's directed a number of things over the past 10 years or so. But more importantly, he has directed Ryan Reynolds in the last two films that Ryan Reynolds has done. Free Guy and The Atom Project were both directed by Sean Levy. And it was announced sometime late last week that he will be the director for Deadpool 3 with Ryan Reynolds. And that they've been working on the script for quite a while. I mean, they've had basically 4 years to work together on two separate movies. So, of course, they're going to be working on scripts. But the last two movies that Levy has done, Free Guy and The Atom Project, have both come out to crazy good reviews. Ryan Reynolds has seemed really reinvigorated with this kind of movie star mentality and taking on these different types of projects. And now he gets to step into the role of Deadpool with this director at his back. Some pretty big news because we weren't sure how they were going to kind of incorporate Deadpool, what was going to happen. But it's official. Deadpool 3 is coming. We don't know how. We don't know when. But it is officially on the schedule. Keith, since you're here first, man, I'll let you, or since you're now here, I'll let you go first. Thoughts on Levy, Deadpool 3, everything coming together.
Yay. Excellent. Sounds good. Sean Levy, is he, he's Stranger Things too, right? Is he not?
He is. He created Stranger Things. Yeah.
Created. Okay, cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yep.
Yeah, I knew I recognized that name just when I first heard about it. I know, obviously, Free Guy and everything you said, but I just recognize it from Stranger Things.
He also did the Night at the Museum movies.
Really? Oh, I didn't
He
know
did
that.
all 3 of them.
Oh, that's cool. Those are
Yeah.
great. Well, I mean, the first one's great. The second one's okay. But
Big Fat Liar? Wow.
Big
I
Fat
like
Liar.
Big Fat
That
Liar.
movie's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's a
That
good
movie's
movie.
awesome.
That movie was
Date
fun.
Night?
I
Steve
love
Carell?
Date Night. Steve Carell, Amy, Tina Fey. Yeah, I love that
Wow.
movie. Yo, this guy's got a great resume. Because everything you've named is stuff that I either at least I like it, right?
Yeah.
So, I think Date Night's a very underrated comedy, in my opinion. But so yeah, listen, we were all wondering about Deadpool 3. We kind of like knew it was coming, right? But like you said, we don't know how what kind of craziness is going to happen. How's it going to? I think did Kevin Feige come out and say it's going to be R-rated, right? It's going to be like regular Deadpool. Yeah. So I'm glad they put all those concerns to rest. Although it would have been funny, it still would have been funny to have a PG-13 Deadpool with just like bleeping out all the curse words.
I think we'll get that when he appears in other movies.
In other movies?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Like if when he eventually appears in a Spider-Man movie, they're gonna bleep him out.
Bleep out,
Yeah,
like, put the
for
little
sure.
blur over his mouth.
Yes.
So, but listen, Ryan Reynolds has such a great hold on this character, and I mean, just with the two of them working so well together, Free Guy is great. It's a lot of fun. I started reading. It's on Disney Plus and it's on 2 different.
It's
services.
on HBO Max too.
HBO, yeah, right. So
I've been seeing that a lot lately. Movies popping up on multiple streaming services.
Right,
That's
right.
weird.
Yeah. But I had no idea it was on Disney Plus. I was just scrolling through looking for something else, and I saw it. So I watched probably about half hour of it, and I forgot. I just really enjoyed that movie. It's a lot of fun. So if you can incorporate that. I saw an image of Deadpool in the Free Guy, Free City.
So there was a Photoshop when Free Guy came out. Someone did a Photoshop of the poster of Free Guy,
With Deadpool?
and they put Deadpool in it, and people now are going back to it like, well, crap, this guy must be working for Sean Levy or something,
Right?
Like
Yeah, right,
he
right.
literally just put Deadpool in Free Guy, and now 3 or 4 years later, he's now directing the threequel. So
There's no reason. Hey, listen, with all the craziness going on, multiverse, all that, you never know. I mean, he had Cap Shield, and I know it's a video game. Obviously, it's not going to happen.
Sean Levy used Cap Shields, and he also used Hulk's hand.
Yeah,
and
that's
he
right.
got Chris Evans in Free
Chris
Guy.
Evans was in it.
Like, so he's been
it.
come on, you're like the king of spoilers.
Hugh
It's
Jackman
a 3-second cameo.
It was fun though the way that Reynolds announced it, because he put a poster out of his 3 characters from Free Guy, Adam Project, and Deadpool, and he said something along the like something the weirdest or whatever trilogy of all time. Like this is our trilogy. This is our trilogy of all movies.
3.
Yeah, like this is our trilogy.
Gonna be more
Sean
stab.
Levy
Wow.
and I.
Remember we had that. I can't remember what the ad was for, but you had Deadpool hanging out with Cord playing video games.
Yeah,
Like
Free Guy.
well,
was
and
it Free
so-
Guy? Okay, yeah.
So because they're doing press right now for the Adam Project, or they were before this was actually announced, because he's been connected to Ryan Reynolds recently. I think it was comicbook.com that asked him if he'd be interested in directing a Deadpool 3. And he said he would do everything in his power to put Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman together. That's what he said he would do.
Yeah.
Yes.
And look, there's a possibility for a lot of things, and I'm not taking credit for this because I got this from someone else who is PJ Campbell, part of the Schmodown. He tweeted this out, but I instantly hooked on it. What if it's a Deadpool movie where Deadpool will not accept the fact that Hugh Jackman won't play Wolverine again?
Wow.
And it's like a buddy movie, and he just won't let Hugh Jackman leave and let go of the character. And that's how we get like the final hoorah of Hugh Jackman as the character, and Deadpool just like won't let it happen.
I love that. Where have I heard
Wow.
that premise before?
That I could see that. It's like Deadpool goes and gets him from another universe, from one of the timelines, X-Men timelines, like whether
Yeah.
it's X3 or Days of Future
Yeah.
Past or Logan, whatever. And he's like, "No, I'm not letting you go." I could totally see that.
Or it'll be actual Hugh Jackman, like he'll show up talking to Hugh Jackman.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Like it's not Wolverine. It's just like the actor Hugh Jackman.
Yes.
that would be funny. Yeah, this can only be good news, right? It's not like Sean Levy has directed bad movies and then he's getting this. You know, look, Free Guy is awesome. The Adam Project is pretty good. So like I don't love either of those movies, but they work very well together is the thing. And obviously they have some camaraderie. And didn't Ryan Reynolds, like, he brought on the director for the first one, right? Or who?
Well, he and
who
Tim
directed the first
Miller.
one?
He and Tim
the
Miller had
writers.
been-
He brought on the writers, is what it was.
Well, and so good point there, Jacob. The writers are actually coming back for this movie.
Yeah.
Oh.
So he had brought on the writers, and they worked together on Deadpool 1 and Deadpool 2 very closely with Ryan Reynolds. So I think Ryan Reynolds is a guy who likes to develop relationships and work with the same people, work with who he's comfortable with. And not that he can't work with anybody. He's awesome. But the fact that they've built this chemistry over the past two projects and then they're going to go right into this is nothing but good news, honestly.
Agreed.
And especially that Hugh Jackman thing. Didn't he say like it could be for any movie, but come on, this comes out a couple days later. Come on now.
We got to have a
That's
Deadpool
crazy.
or Deadpool Wolverine movie. It just makes sense.
Yeah.
Just makes sense.
Yeah.
Have to, man. And I just realized that Sean Levy, well, I didn't realize, I found out he was a producer on Danny Villeneuve's Arrival. I didn't know that.
Oh, wow.
Oh, nice.
Crazy. This guy,
The dude's got some experience.
he has a resume, man. And if Ryan Reynolds loves him for this project, this one's just, I don't know, more than, I mean, don't get me wrong, David Leitch is already, in my opinion, a legend with the action genre. But man, this one just, it when you hear it, it feels so right, you know. And
It's a good point.
yeah, a great pairing. Love this news. Yeah.
I think the only thing better, I wouldn't say better, but only thing as good would be bringing back Tim Miller, maybe, because they had some similar chemistry, I think, for Deadpool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
and Tim Miller had
yeah.
issues with Fox, not
Right.
Marvel. So
and not with Ryan Reynolds.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, look, the Deadpool Wolverine thing would be cool, but we've talked about it for years here. Deadpool blowing up the X-Men universe, I
Yeah.
think would be an incredible step. You know, like getting rid of that, and now he's officially inside the MC universe. That's how it happens. We know that he has the time machine thing that he dealt with in the post-credit scene of Deadpool 2. So there's obviously a lot of possibilities with this character and third movie. It seems like we have a while to go. I know Samir said that it might happen in 2024. That's only 2 years. That is only 2 years. So it's
time
not
flies,
that
man.
far away. Because I imagine now that the Adam Project's over, I don't know if he has anything else going, I would imagine Levy's probably getting work to Deadpool 3 next. Unless he has something else happening. Stranger Things 4 is coming out, and so that's pretty much wrapped. He'll just have to do press, and so he'll probably get to work on Deadpool 3 with Ryan Reynolds, and it seems like he's already been working on it for a while now. So, and that could also lead us to seeing actually Deadpool pop up anywhere else beforehand. He could pop up in any facet in some other film down the line.
Multiverse of madness.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, if there's a spot to do it,
Yeah.
if there's a spot to do it,
yeah, for sure. Either that or Ant-Man, one of those two. But
Ant-Man, yes.
I could see that.
because you met him and
Well, Quantumania, him and Ant-Man, like an ant character, him bagging on an ant character would be
Ryan Reynolds and Paul Rudd. Have they ever done anything together? They
I
would
don't know.
kill it together on
That's a
screen.
good question.
I don't
That's a good
think
question.
so.
We're gonna see it
Wow.
eventually.
Yeah.
We'll see it eventually.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
I'm
Stranger
just so-
Things this is probably it for is that gonna be it for Stranger
I
Things?
think they announced
Oh.
that season 5 was the finale.
4 and 5.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then
Oh, wow.
it's
Yeah,
over.
so they're
But
doing
I'm,
one more after this.
I'm just so curious. Are they going to treat Deadpool like a true proper MCU movie other than it being rated R? Like, do you guys think it's released under Marvel Studios, under
Yeah.
Disney, and it
100%.
has the MCU logo and like intro in the beginning, and it's
100%.
It's just a straight up MCU movie.
Yep,
Yeah.
100%.
I hope so, to be honest, because like I was fearing that they were gonna release it under 20th Century and like kind of have it be its own kind of thing. But I'm like, if he's part of the MCU, just make him part of the MCU.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, they watched 20th Century.
I think they still use it. It's not Fox. It's not 20th Century Fox. It's just 20th Century Studios, and they release other movies under that name.
Avatar 2. Yep.
I think that they're gonna swallow anything that is Marvel Comics.
I agree. I think that's a good point.
Yeah, and then anything else they'll put under 20th Century Studios, but they'll absorb anything that is Marvel Comics for their brand.
Like I think when they make an Alien movie, it'll be under 20th Century.
20th Century,
you know?
Good call. There you go. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Which that series on Hulu, man, this team, they're gonna have the writers, Levy, Reynolds, they're gonna have so much fun. I mean, just imagine what they did with the Hugh Jackman cameo and poking fun, but with the MCU. It's just they're gonna have so much fun. Wow, this is gonna be their most fun project yet.
Oh yeah.
And to answer Brian's question, because Brian is in the chat, I'm starting to think Marvel is pushing Disney to do a bit more adult. I think that R rates isn't far off. I think Deadpool 2 or Deadpool 3 will be the first R-rated one.
Oh yeah,
and that'll be the domino effect. I think that'll probably be, because we've seen a lot more mature adult Marvel movies, but I think Deadpool 3 will be the first of the R-rated, and then we'll kind of see a domino from there.
Yeah,
right. Well, if they're incorporating all those Marvel Netflix characters were kind of pretty edgy.
Yep.
So if they're going to incorporate any of that stuff,
you
never know.
Well, and they're also doing, because I know we have to move on, but they're also doing that Werewolf by Night Disney Plus thing, which also, by the way, Michael Giacchino is directing that, which is cool.
Crazy.
That's awesome.
What?
Yeah. Michael Giacchino is directing Werewolf by Night.
Isn't it cool? Isn't it a Halloween special?
It's a Halloween special, and a lot of people are theorizing that might be R-rated. Or mature, and also Samir says in the chat, but Blade has to be R-rated.
Blade better be.
I
mean, they're blood. How do you not have blood?
I know.
In Blade.
Yeah,
you're literally sucking someone's blood. It's R-rated, bro.
Sure.
I guess Morbius is PG-13, but
honestly,
but Sony doesn't know what they're doing. So.
I think we're past the whole R-rated. Is that going to work? No, come on now. Those movies they make money.
Well, let's see. Well. Go ahead.
Well, I think the genre is almost at the point where it's runtime proof, where they don't have to be 2 hours anymore. You can do R-rated. I mean, come on now, Joker. That's immediately the first one I think.
But you don't have to force it though. Everyone calls for
everything. Oh no. Yeah, don't do the 3D thing that they did where everything was 3D, and with the Dark Knight, all of a sudden, movies had to be a little bit more darker, and whatnot. I just no, but for characters that make a lot of sense, Logan, Joker, Deadpool, Blade.
We don't need an R-rated Captain Marvel.
Would have loved to have seen.
I'd love to see it though, Keith.
You can't make a PG-13 Punisher movie.
That's okay, right. Yeah, 100%.
Both of those movies were rated R, right? The first two Punisher movies.
Yes.
I think the first one might have been PG-13.
I think the first one might have been PG-13. The Thomas Jane one. I think the Thomas Jane one was PG-13.
I guess I haven't seen it in a while.
Really, it shouldn't be though. Is the point?
Yeah. Punisher Warzone absolutely rated R.
Oh yeah.
I haven't seen. I have to do a rewatch. I haven't seen either of those in a long time.
Oh,
I've never seen Warzone. I heard it's actually.
Ray Stevenson's a dope ass Punisher. He's a dope Punisher.
Never seen Punisher Warzone.
So you know what's funny? Ray Stevenson, he plays a villain on Dexter season 7, and I love his character in Dexter. I had no idea he was the same guy who played Punisher, and now I'm like,
and he also plays.
And,
he plays. What's his name in the Thor movies? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's right. One of the Warriors. Now I have to watch Punisher Warzone.
Yeah, that's really.
And he's also Ray Stevenson is also playing an Imperial officer in the Ahsoka series. Keep that in mind.
Oh, the first Punisher was rated R, so they both were rated R. Yeah,
boom.
It was rated R.
Why is it so bad?
Gotcha.
That has nothing to do with it.
Andy, Andy, you're all the way down under in Australia. Yes, there is an age restriction. What is it? 13?
It's 17.
Oh, is it 17? Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Australia doesn't.
Is it 17? Yeah. So there you go. It's 17.
But if you're 17 though, like, so a kid can go with an adult to a rated R movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 But like a 17-year-old can take their 13-year-old cousin to the movie with
They're
them.
considered an
Yeah.
adult for R-rated movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's stop putting off the inevitable. Let's get to this bracket here. We have a lot to talk about. I'm going to go and bring up our bracket while we kind of break this down on what's going to be happening. If you joined us before, we've done one bracket previously, and we did a Christopher Nolan versus Denis Villeneuve bracket. This time, it is a Batman movie villains bracket. And as you can see, there are 2 sides of 8. We have 16 total villains here. And all of you who are shouting at us the fact that there was no Heath Ledger's Joker in here, the reason why is because he would be the obvious number 1. Everyone can just go home in the first round. So we kept him out of this specifically for that reason. We also kept out characters that weren't involved directly in a solo Batman movie. So, for example, we didn't have Jared Leto's Joker because he was in the Suicide Squad, even though there was a scene of Ben Affleck. We didn't have Joaquin Phoenix's Joker because there was no Batman. These are all characters from the solo Batman movies. And we got 16 of them. And so if you want to yell at us for the rankings, you can yell at Keith for that one. No, I'm just kidding. It was between the 2 of us of what we did.
I wanted to
we
ask
talked
you
about
guys,
this last night.
When did you decide that Heath Ledger's Joker wouldn't be on here? Like,
we said that right away.
decided.
It was immediate. It was
Yeah,
immediate.
we said that right away.
No,
Yeah.
Because I was telling you guys, my brother Jonah, he loves our YouTube channel and our videos, and I told him about this, and he was like, "What? No, Heath Ledger's Joker." And I'm like, "Look, once we get to it, he's gonna just beat everybody. Like, even if one of us thinks that maybe another villain's better, the other 3 are gonna vote Heath Ledger's Joker. So he's gonna win, and it's gonna be no fun."
Initially, I wanted to do the movies. And Jake's idea was to do the villains, which was better. But when I wanted to do the movies, I was going to do the same thing with the Dark Knight. I was going to try to leave the Dark Knight off.
No, I think that would have been fun.
So that the villain,
Who says the Dark Knight's the best, Keith?
Listen, I agree, but I thought that hey, same thing with the Villeneuve thing, and it wound up winning. So.
But yeah, so what we're gonna do, and Brian asked, who the hell is Max Schreck? He's the villain from Batman Returns.
Christopher Walken.
Walken.
But yes, and I know someone also asked about the Lego Batman movie and the Joker. We understand, but we decided to do 16 from the live action movies. Yeah, it's a little bit easier that way. There's a lot more villains in the live action movies that have been either seen or used, but we decided to go with these 16. We ranked them this way. And again, if you have an issue, you can yell at Keith on Twitter at KeithBarnes70. So
Jake threw me under the bus in our chat today. All right,
that is a lie.
Threw me under the bus. The rankings
that is a lie.
I'll show you guys the original rankings. I'll post them on Twitter later. I'll post them on the Apocaflix Facebook.
But anyway, look, we're gonna go through these one by one. We're gonna go through them pretty quickly in the first round or so because we don't have that much time. But we're gonna get down to it, to the nitty gritty, and we'll get to the number 1 villain we think from this list is the overall best outside of Heath Ledger's Joker. So, gentlemen, if you're ready, I'm ready to go.
I'm ready. It's basically who's the second best Batman
Who's
villain
the second best
Sure.
Batman villain?
Let's go.
All right. We're starting on the top left here, where it's a number 1 seed taking on an 8 seed, and we have Paul Dano's Riddler facing off against Tommy Lee Jones's Two-Face.
Man, there's an even number of us too, so this will get interesting.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I vote Dano. I mean,
it's a smart
Yeah.
Obviously.
This one's easy. It's Paul Dano.
Look, and this will be an ongoing theme for me. I don't mind Batman Forever as much as most people do. I actually like.
I don't
Batman
mind it either.
Forever.
I don't mind it either.
So, and being said, I like Two-Face and Riddler in that movie. I was a kid when it came out. Leave me alone.
And yes, Harrison has a great idea. The chat will be the tiebreaker for a 2-2 split.
It's a good point.
We'll leave it to them.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's an obvious choice. At some point there might be a test for Paul Dano's Riddler, but right now it's the 1 seed overtaking for sure. Like I don't think it's any question. All right, next one on the board, going straight down. We have a 4 seed and a 5 seed. We have Tom Hardy's Bane and John Turturro's Falcone.
Okay,
Falcone. Excuse me, Falcone.
Before we listen, Jake swapped the Falcones. He got them each. They're supposed to be in the other bracket.
Oh, what do you mean?
You wanted both of them in the same bracket?
No. the Wilkinson Falcone was supposed to be in this bracket, and the Turturro one's supposed to be in the other. It's okay. It's no big deal.
I see.
Yeah.
It's no big deal. Interesting. I really like Turturro in the Batman, but
this is a tough one, actually.
I went first last time. I know my answer, but I don't know.
I think because of screen time and how much he broke Batman, it's Tom Hardy, Bane. He broke Batman.
He did.
Yeah.
So mentally and physically.
And I know that this Falcone was a lot different than, and we haven't had like a pure movie dedicated to Falcone being the really big bad guy the entire time, like he is in the comics and shows and stuff. But his role was incredible in the Batman. John Turturro was fantastic. I would have loved to have seen him again, but obviously the ending of the movie said otherwise. I just think that what Tom Hardy did and how like physically imposing he was is a big deal for how much I enjoy that character. And like I said, he broke Batman. So
yeah. And look, Bane is not the problem with The Dark Knight Rises. A lot for people who have issues with that movie. I personally don't think Bane is the issue. And I'm gonna go with Bane as well. Shout out to my brother. He loves Bane. He was like, Bane better be on there. And I was like, of course Bane's on there. He actually asked if we were gonna have Bane from Batman and Robin on.
I actually thought about that.
I was like, I don't think so. But I'm going Bane. Especially he's the main villain of the movie. I mean, he's the main villain of the movie.
Listen, the Bane, the Batman and Robin Bane is more comic accurate than this one. So
true.
But yeah, I think it's Bane. I love John.
Gio, do you have another? I mean, we all three voted Bane, but did you are you voting differently?
I was gonna go to Turturro.
Really?
No, here's the thing. I agree with all the physicality of Bane. The fact that fight. I mean, I'll never forget watching it in IMAX and how quiet the theater was. We were all just like, "Oh my god, that man just got his ass handed to him." But then I think about things like, first off, I'm a fan of the IMAX preview in front of Ghost Protocol where they showed Bane and his actual voice. I actually like that more. And then if you actually think about Bane's plan, it's kind of stupid, in my opinion. Just, okay, so you drop a bomb in Gotham and you wait 6 months for the bomb to go off and whatnot. And I'm just like, it just...
Was it Bane's plan, though?
It could have been done better.
So
Jake and Heath and I talked about. We talked.
I think Bane did his job.
Yeah.
I think he wasn't. It wasn't his plan. I don't think, but he did his job right.
We talked about Talia al Ghul.
Yeah.
But we came to the idea that like she only was the villain the last like 5 minutes.
Yeah. No, you can't really.
And had one of the worst death scenes ever. I mean, for an actress as great as her.
Yeah.
And God, there was something else I was gonna say, but I couldn't remember it. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter though. I mean, I can't find anything wrong with Turturro's Falcone. Honestly,
neither can I.
No, he was great.
Well, the only thing is that he didn't directly, other than him telling Bruce Wayne that story, he kind of didn't really directly deal with Batman himself.
And he was the villain the last 10 minutes of the movie once Bruce figured out what was happening.
Right.
You know, like once he figured out, okay, like it really did come from Falcone, then he became the villain.
He was more of a plot device.
Yeah, he was just a character at that point.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, because it turned out, obviously, and spoilers for everyone, but I mean, him being the
rat,
the informant, the rat, yeah. That was a big, So
yeah,
I mean,
and not
he was
just
more of a villain for Selena, I think, too.
Sure.
Yeah. No, for sure.
That's
yeah. All right, so we have Riddler moving on. We have Bane moving on. They'll be facing off in the next round.
Ooh.
The next one, though, moving down the list is a 3 seed and a 6 seed. We have Danny DeVito's Penguin and Mr. Scarecrow from Batman Begins. Gentlemen. Cillian Murphy's Scarecrow, excuse me.
This is tough.
This one's a little more closer.
I don't know. Now that I'm looking at it, we probably should have reseeded this one, to be honest. But I'm not a big fan of. I love Danny DeVito. I love the idea of him being a penguin, but why is he's a weird mutant man with weird like why did they make him into a weird mutated monster? Like I don't that always bothered me. I'm like, why is he so like eating the fish and with the pointy nose and
it's Tim Burton, man. They were going.
Yeah, Tim Burton.
Oh my god!
Look,
So it's all subjective. It didn't work out for you.
Scarecrow for me.
Yeah.
Chat seems to be agreeing.
I don't mind
Cillian Murphy, man.
I don't mind Danny DeVito's Penguin. Like it fits for the movie that they were making and for the time era that it came out. Yeah. So I don't mind it, but I'm going Scarecrow because I just look, he's in all 3 movies, but his real presence is in Batman Begins. And I remember going to watch that movie and like I wasn't scared, but as a viewer, it's like that's terrifying for people in the movie and for Batman. Like he had a huge impact on that movie. So I'm going to go with Scarecrow as well.
I mean, when I think about Scarecrow, there's only 2 moments I think about. One where for the first time he puts on the mask and it's terrifying. I mean, wow. Like Christopher Nolan knew when to use visual effects and that was perfection. And the second one where he leans over and he's like, the Batman.
Yeah.
And it's just badass.
Yeah.
But I would have went Danny DeVito's Penguin, in my opinion. Tim Burton was in his bag with Batman Returns. I mean, the personal story of Penguin, Danny DeVito and his acting chops, and just what the story tries to do with the character and the costume design. If we're talking performance-wise, it's no competition for me. Danny DeVito gave the much better performance, in my opinion. The movie leaned a lot more on him than Scarecrow for Batman Begins, in my opinion. So.
That's true. That is true. But when I'm thinking which one did I like more, I lean Scarecrow.
It's all subjective. Yeah, sure. So.
Set Batman on fire.
I do think that on the performance side of it, I think Danny DeVito's performance as the actual character that he was given and told to play was better.
I agree.
But there's just something about that character appearing in all 3 movies that I just love, even though it's like totally pointless. I just love the fact that he appears in all 3 movies.
Nolan's boy.
And I also think that he was like, he was the perfect villain for the first movie, other than obviously Ra's al Ghul, which was kind of the overarching part of it all. I love Cillian Murphy. He wasn't used, I think, to his greatest suit. I would have loved to have seen more of him, but I am still going Scarecrow. It's very close. It's very close. I think if we hadn't seen Colin Farrell's Penguin, I probably would have gone the opposite side because I've seen 2 sides of the coin with the Penguin character now. And so I'm gonna go Scarecrow on this one.
Cillian Murphy was almost he auditioned for Bruce Wayne, didn't he?
Yes, he did. There's video of it. Yeah,
I thought
for what?
To play Bruce Wayne
for the new Batman?
Batman Begins.
Oh, for Batman Begins.
Yeah, for Batman Begins.
Oh,
he's screen tested and everything. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. Well, Scarecrow moves on. We got the 6 seed taking on the 3 seed in that one. Next one, the final one on our left side of the bracket is our 2 seed going up against number 7. We have Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman up against Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze.
Oh, this is tough.
Oh, this is tough for Keith.
Yeah.
Really?
Like, because you like them both or you don't like them both?
As much as I hate Batman and Robin, I love Mr. Freeze.
Really?
I love Mr. Freeze. He's the best thing in that movie. It's not even close. Oh, I love Mr. Freeze.
I had to talk Keith off a ledge on this one because he originally had Mr. Freeze at a number 2 seed.
Number 2. I'd have had a 2 seed.
Wow. Look, same thing for me. Like, even as a kid, I recognize this movie's bad, but I still enjoy Mr. Freeze and Uma Thurman in that movie, honestly.
Sure, yeah.
But look, to me, Pfeiffer is iconic.
Yeah.
I love Batman Returns, and she's iconic as Catwoman. So I'm going Pfeiffer. Agreed. No question.
My only issue is I didn't really see her as a villain. I don't really view Catwoman as a villain.
Well, that's what I was going to say, too. Look, she's in here. She's not really a villain, but at times she's an antagonist, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
at
Absolutely.
times. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
And
out
she's a
of
criminal.
the Catwoman adaptions we've seen, Michelle Pfeiffer's is the most villainous of them all.
Yes,
That
absolutely.
is, that's definitely.
Yeah.
That's definitely true.
Yeah, it's Catwoman.
Because she wants to kill
Shrek, right?
Shrek.
Shrek.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Shrek.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean,
And the fact that the thing she does with her whip to the
Yeah.
what are those things called? The fuck, what are those things called in the store? God damn it.
I don't know.
Mannequins.
Yeah.
All in one
yeah.
shot.
Yeah.
One take.
That's, you know what? Yeah.
But there's something to be said about Mr. Freeze and all his ice puns.
Uh-oh.
I know.
Uh-oh.
Like,
I know, man.
sing. And then that I mentioned it last. I think I mentioned it last week, where that final conversation between Batman and Mr. Freeze when he's defeated. And I'm telling you, you go on YouTube, you watch that 3-minute clip. It's like if the movie was more of that, it would have been a beautiful story. But it's Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman.
Oh, goodness. Did the twist on us. I thought you were going for Mr. Freeze there for a second, Gio.
Keith, did you make a decision? I didn't catch that.
Oh, Catwoman. I can't.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I thought it was going to actually be close for a second. I
Yeah.
thought we were going to have to go to the chat. And the chat, it's funny. Brian is all about Mr. Freeze.
Listen,
and Andy is all about Mr. Freeze. So it would have been close.
He's almost became like it's so bad it's like iconic almost. Like honestly.
Hello everyone. Yeah. Chill.
Curtis, you're right.
Yeah.
It is absolutely pulling a Bateman. 100%.
Pick some ice.
All right.
So Brian, I'm using he's made a comment earlier. It's on my internet. I'm using my daughter's MacBook. So
and that's what we figured out over time is it's not the internet for Keith. It's always the computer
device.
running.
Crappy computer.
It's the device. So we
Using
gotta get this man a laptop.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll start a Patreon, and the Patreon is get Keith a laptop.
Okay.
Moving on to the right side of the bracket, we have our first matchup. It's another number 1 seed going up against number 8. We have Jack Nicholson's Joker up against Max Shrek.
Or Max. Man.
I don't know why there's an apostrophe at the end, but whatever.
That's how you spell it. You didn't know? No, I don't know. Look, there's an argument to be made. No, I'm just kidding. It's Joker. It's Jack Nicholson.
It's Nicholson. Yeah.
No
question.
If Max Shrek went up against Tommy Lee Jones's Two-Face or even Tom Hardy's Bane, I would have made an argument for that. But it's Nicholson's Joker. Are you kidding me? Come on.
Yeah. This is like what on this side of the bracket. I mean, this is UNLV from 1990. Like it's not even close.
Yeah, I remember that, Keith. Yeah.
I wasn't born yet, but I remember that.
Yeah, never mind. I forgot about that. I forgot who I was talking to.
Oh man,
look that up. It's a great documentary on HBO. But yeah, it's Joker.
I thought you were going to make a more recent sports reference, Keith.
This 07 Patriots. How about that?
There we go. I can cling on to that one.
Question. Didn't Nicholson get top billing on the movie, or was it?
Yes,
he did.
I think he
over,
did.
Over Michael Keaton. He sure did.
He was a superstar.
And he got paid.
The only time
Marlon Brando.
The only time Batman, the actor, has never been top billed. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's the first Batman movie.
Crazy. Right. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, other than 1966, Jacob.
Oh, true.
Hey,
yeah.
Come on.
They did the same thing
Right. You're
in
absolutely right.
78 Superman. Marlon Brando and Gene Hackman got top.
Yeah,
billing
that's right. That's right. Good call.
it.
Well, Christopher Reeve was like an actual unknown then, like a true unknown.
Yeah.
So, all right. So Jack Nicholson's Joker moves on to the next one, a 4 and a 5 seed. We have Aaron Eckhart's Two-Face versus Jim Carrey's Riddler,
AKA Ace Ventura, because that's what he's doing in this movie.
I mean, at first you're like, that's not really that close, but then you think about it a little bit more, and the more you think about it, the more closer it gets for me. First off, the fact that Eckhart's Two-Face did not recognize that was Joker underneath the mask as a nurse in his bed. I'm like, what are you blind? Is both eyes not working?
He was all messed up. He's got burned to.
Wait, why does he like when he takes the mask off? He's like, "Oh shit, that's you."
Yeah,
Like,
then he freaks out.
When he
Like,
start-
you didn't
yeah.
know that was him
Yeah.
the whole time.
Maybe
he's
his
like-
vision's all messed
That's
up.
what I'm
and he,
saying.
like,
He's probably all.
can't really see.
Yeah.
We don't know. They should have shown that they should have shown what he was seeing, and then when he took it off, it's more clear. But man, honestly, like for me, Jim Carrey, I love Jim Carrey so much, so this is closer than you think for me.
I don't like how quiet Jake is being right here. I want to see I'm wondering where he's going here. I don't know.
Jim Carrey's Riddler.
Are you kidding me? Really?
Wow.
He's so goofy. I agree, but he's so. Like I said, to me, it was just Ace Ventura. Like he's just being full.
You know what? The Riddler character is extremely jokey. It's extremely jokey. He has his moments. He has his moments in the comics, and we've obviously now seen Paul Dano's Riddler, how different it is.
Right.
But in the 90s, it is a very different style of what they are going for. I love how full send Jim Carrey goes with this character. He fully sends.
Well, look, during this time, that's how you play the Riddler.
Well,
honestly,
it's 100% Jim Carrey's Riddler all day.
All day. This was peak Jim Carrey. This was right in the middle of Ace Ventura and
the thing for me, in the Dark Knight, Two-Face isn't really a villain. It's kind of like the we were just talking about in Dark Knight Rises, how Talia al Ghul's not really a villain until the last 10, 15, 20 minutes of the movie. Same can be said about Two-Face.
Dark Knight. But you could see it though with Aaron Eckhart kind of throughout the movie. Like he had hints
but he doesn't halfway point
really show any villainous. Like he's tough. He's like, but he doesn't show anything villainous.
I mean, he holds Jim Gordon's kid hostage. That's villainous for me.
No, I'm saying until they get blown up and Rachel dies. Like after that is when he becomes a villain. But there's still like a good
he was going to
40
shoot,
minutes left.
Remember, he grabbed when they faked the Commissioner Gordon's death, and he grabbed David Dasmalchian. He was going to shoot him if he didn't tell him. Like that was.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. And Batman stopped him. Like he would have shot him if Batman didn't show up. So.
You're right, Keith. That's a good point.
And that poor driver.
Doesn't matter. It's Jim Carrey's Riddler. Come on, someone be on my side. Let's leave it up to the chat.
I'm struggling. Look, I thought I was going to be the one choosing Jim Carrey's Riddler.
Come on.
I love Jim Carrey so much, but
I understand.
I'm torn. I'm
gonna go with Jim Carrey's Riddler. Those riddles are so much fun, and a little bit nostalgia. Actually, a lot nostalgia, but I'm gonna give it to Jim Carrey's Riddler.
Can one of you guys give me an argument against Two-Face? Like, because I'm torn. I'm like, I can't decide.
I mean, I'll kind of use some of your own argument where he's not a villain for most of the movie. I mean, it's just as much Harvey Dent's arc as it is Two-Face, and I know that's a little because they're the same, but I mean, it's two sides of a coin.
Sure.
And he just, I was kind of sad when he died. I would have loved to have seen more of Two-Face. You know, I was digging where Eckhart and Christopher Nolan.
You actually could have brought Aaron Eckhart back. Like you killed one villain and didn't kill the other. Yeah.
Are we leaving it up to the chat, or is Jacob making a decision? Come on,
you know what?
Jacob.
Jim Carrey, my second favorite actor of all time. Let's go. Jim Carrey's Riddler.
There it is.
To be honest, I probably haven't seen that movie in 20 years, so I should probably watch it again just to watch his performance. It's been so long.
Just for everyone's reference, both Two-Faces are gone. Both Riddlers have moved on. Look at that. All right, next matchup we have here is a 3 and a 6 seed. We have Colin Farrell's Penguin up against Tom Wilkinson's, Falcone.
I'd like to say this is close, but because I really like Tom Wilkinson's Falcone in this one. But I'm going to use the thing that I think Jake said about the other one, which is a screen time thing. He's not in it quite enough. He's a good Falcone. But come on. If I didn't know that was Colin Farrell, I would never guess in a million years. Like that was so good. I'm just talking about just the makeup or whatever it is alone. But oh my gosh, I love that so much. Like it.
Yeah. No, Wilkinson is a great Falcone in that movie, but it's got to be. Look,
yeah.
Colin Farrell's Penguin is going to be a contender in this thing.
I was going to say he might be the.
He
might. We'll see.
Well, so and Falcone, there's no way that Falcone is going to make it much further. Yeah.
Gio.
Yeah, I think about what Wilkinson said to Bruce Wayne when Bruce Wayne walked into the diner all tough.
It's a great scene.
Like, he talked about his dad, Thomas Wayne, and his butler, and bang, and he was influential in the or played a big part in that bat symbol in the sky. I mean, he
right. That's his eye.
But even though we haven't seen the full arc of Colin Farrell's Penguin, I'm going to go with Penguin. So
yeah, clear cut favorite in this one for sure. Easy enough. Clean sweep.
Yeah.
All right, now on to our 2 seed and 7 seed here. We have Liam Neeson's Ra's al Ghul versus Uma Thurman's Poison Ivy.
I'm saying because I forgot about Ra's al Ghul. He's gonna be a contender as well. Look, there's some fun with Uma Thurman's Poison Ivy, but I gotta go Ra's al Ghul.
Keith, you look like you're struggling.
I'm thinking it's in my head. It's closer than I thought it was gonna be. I don't know, but no, I mean it's Ra's al Ghul. But Uma Thurman is so good. Not just she looks great, yes, but she's actually really good as Poison Ivy. Like she was.
I haven't seen it in a long. I need to go back and rewatch it. I haven't seen it in a long.
It's
time.
silly. It's silly. It's like the same thing with Mr. Freeze. Like, but it's over the top and candy, but it's fun. It's a lot.
But when she turns it on, man, she comes out from the ground and she's Poison Ivy and just like she's so alluring.
Yeah,
if I'm using the word correctly.
Yeah, she fully. Yeah, like you can see how you get drawn in.
I mean,
but even pre, like when she's playing the nerdy, I forgot what's her name. I can't remember her.
Pamela.
Yeah,
but I forget the last name.
Yeah, she nailed that too. Like she was really good at being the. It's Ra's al Ghul. Come on, it's Liam Neeson was. You could quote all his lines forever in that movie. Like I love it.
If you make yourself more than just a man.
Oh, it's Pamela Isley. I had to look up the last name.
Isley, yeah, right.
That's not her name, right? In the comics, what's her name in the comics? I don't think it's Pamela Isley.
That's why I was like, I don't know.
But that's in the movie, right?
Because from Gotham and Supergirl and all that stuff, it's not.
It's not that. Yeah.
I think it is.
Is it
really
Pamela Isley? Yeah, I'm looking at DC Wiki also.
Okay. Maybe they changed it.
Lillian Isley.
They might change her name.
They change it for Gotham and all that stuff. Then
that's what. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of when.
Well, they changed Riddler's name in the Batman, right?
Name.
It's not Enigma.
I thought Gotham was like super spot on, but apparently I'm wrong. I don't think it was Pamela. I could be
Dr.
wrong.
Paula Irving. Other aliases.
Sure. Yeah, that's not. Yeah. That's like Harley Quinn. She's got a bunch of different names.
I don't know if you guys saw, but in Batwoman, and I haven't watched the show in a while. I need to catch up, and I really want to. But Kate Keene, who was Ruby Rose's Batwoman, her sister turned into Poison Ivy in the show.
Oh wow!
So super interesting. Yeah,
I've never watched it.
Yeah, so I don't know how it worked.
I
don't know how it worked. I really do want to catch up. It's just time is so short. But yeah, anyway.
Oh, interesting.
That's interesting.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, so Liam Neeson's Ra's moves on.
Yeah.
And I know Samir's asking Ken Watanabe's Ra's. Well, he kind of played the role of Ra's, but it's really Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
He is Ra's.
I thought about that one. Yeah.
He's not him.
Yeah, he's really the main guy. All right, we have 4 matchups left, gentlemen. We have 4 matchups left. We are getting down to the thick and thin right now. We have Riddler and Bane. Paul Dano versus Tom Hardy.
Ooh.
This is interesting. Look, I like to see actors' faces when they're acting. I'm all cool with masks on if it fits the character, and it did for both of these. But it's just This is tough because I even said on our Batman review, like I like when Batman has like when he can physically fight the villain.
Can punch someone.
Yeah, and I like when someone can punch him back and actually go toe to toe with him. So I love that, but I think Paul Dano's performance is just out of this world good. I'm voting Riddler.
Yeah, I mean, just think about if he didn't come across Jim Gordon's letter, Gary Oldman's. I mean, what would that have done to his plan? And what? It's Paul Dano's Riddler. I mean, just think about the very first time you see him on screen. Ugh.
Damn,
that opening scene of when the lightning strikes and you see him in front of the curtain. Oh my god!
Straight from a horror movie. But I was gonna say, Gio, I didn't realize how much Gio hates Bane and The Dark Knight Rises.
But the opening scene in that Bane, it's in the plane,
the airplane scene, the fact that it was all real too.
He's badass. Bane is.
Perhaps he's wondering why someone would shoot a man before throwing him out of an airplane.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the voice.
I wonder where
it is odd.
the Bane voice came from. It's not like in the comics they wrote, "This is how he sounds."
Tom Hardy.
It was inspired by like a gypsy boxer or something that I read.
If you watch
the documentary,
Peaky Blinders, Jake, Tom Hardy. He sounds like Bane.
He sounds like a super British version of Bane.
He really
does.
Yes.
But he's so badass in that show.
He is
great. So badass in that show.
On that show. He's so good.
I need to continue that.
That's partly what's coloring my decision here. I love Tom Hardy, so I'm trying to.
Keith, you and I get this reference. Tim Franco, you are 100% correct on this one.
I never even thought of that. They did.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Oh my god. Wow. I might watch that tonight. That's hilarious.
There you go.
Tim Franco. That's hilarious. I never thought.
So Jacob, you want Riddler?
Yeah, I think I'm the only one who voted so far.
Keith?
I'm gonna go with Bane.
Okay.
Wow.
Gio?
Riddler.
Yeah, I think I love Bane. I love Bane. But when it comes down to this, now that we're getting to the nitty-gritty, he was pulling the strings for someone else who was ultimately pulling his strings.
He was a puppet.
Yeah.
Riddler is pulling everything himself. 2, he was the antagonist of the first ever Batman detective story. 3, his effect could still be felt in the eventual next movie. Like it could have major. His plan could very well not be over. Yeah. So I'm going to give it to Riddler on this one. I'm going to pass him through.
100%.
I think theory. I think we were talking about Hush. I think we were wondering how he got all that information. I bet you the child of that reporter is.
I would love that.
It's going to be Hush.
I would love that.
He was in that orphanage with Riddler and that's
something Elliot.
Yeah. I would love that. Well, Matt Reeves has talked about he would love to bring Hush to the screen. And he's a character we've never seen in live action before.
Yeah.
And he's terrifying. All right, moving on to our next fight. Whoever the Riddler is going to be facing in the next round, it'll become between these two. Number 2 seed of Catwoman with Michelle Pfeiffer up against Cillian Murphy's 6th seed in the Scarecrow. Wow. Does the Cinderella story continue?
So I know my answer. Look, this is close, but I know my answer. I think Michelle Pfeiffer has a bigger impact on that movie than he does in any of the 3 movies that he appears in. He has a bigger role in Batman Begins, but she's such a huge presence in Batman Returns. I'm going Pfeiffer.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And I think for me, it's like it's the same thing I just talked about with Bane. The ultimate villain is Ra's al Ghul, right? Like all the strings are being pulled by Ra's al Ghul.
Sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and that's it. It doesn't take away from the character, but when it comes down to this, like Jacob said, the impact from Catwoman was felt a lot more than Scarecrow because Ra's al Ghul is the overarching impact of that film.
Yeah.
Even Bane himself is I'm fulfilling Ra's al Ghul's destiny. Like even through that movie, That's so.
Yeah, so Ra's al Ghul was the villain of both of the first
Kinda
one and the third one.
all
He's
of
the
them.
villain of the entire
whole thing.
trilogy.
Yeah, he set that whole thing.
In a way, yeah.
Like
In a
Thanos.
way.
He's the Thanos.
Okay, let me just put this through real quick and we'll get to our next one. Let's see. All right. Next one here. So we got our matchup for the semifinals on the left side. The right side, we have the 1 seed of Jack Nicholson's Joker up against Jim Carrey's Riddler. Come on, let's go. Let's make it happen.
Stop it.
Let's make it happen.
Jake,
Oh,
stop
man.
it.
Look, we
That's
struggled
fine.
with putting Riddler.
Let's make it
Who'd he go up
happen.
against? Yeah. If he barely beat his last opponent, I don't think he's going to beat Jack Nicholson's Joker.
Come on. Gio?
Wow. I didn't know you were such a fan, Jake.
Come on,
that makes me
Gio.
happy.
I know, right?
Come on,
Honestly,
Gio.
It does. I'm going Joker. I just got to vote Joker.
Sorry, Jake. It's
Damn it.
Nicholson's Joker.
Damn it.
It's Nicholson's Joker.
That's fine. That's fine. Everybody in the chat's with me. Well, I mean, Andy and Brian are anyway. Thank you. All right,
he
real
does
quick
have the question mark thing, right? Any other
the
question
staff.
mark?
The staff. Yeah. It's great. Real quick before we move on, Rain Man, thank you so much, Rain Man, for sending a super chat.
Thank
Appreciate it, man.
you.
Yeah.
Where is Mark Hamill from Mask of Phantasm on the bracket? If he isn't in Ledger territory, you all are crazy. Agreed. We just
100%.
decided to keep it live action wise.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
And it was just a decision on our end to keep it live action. And if we're ever to do a Batman ranking, you bet your ass Mask of the Phantasm is going to be on that list.
Yeah.
So as far as the villains go, we just
100%.
decided for the number of villains that we had, we decided to keep it as far as the live action one.
And you guys left Lego Batman stuff out too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
I
sure.
wanted it to be 16, Sweet 16, like the
Mhm,
March Madness.
mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. All right. Our final matchup to get to the next semifinal match we have here is the 2 seed of Ra's al Ghul up against the 3 seed of Colin Farrell. Penguin.
Oh,
No, this is too hard. I can't do this.
Oh, no.
Man.
Oh,
This is by far the toughest match we've had so far.
I want either one of these to win. Either one of these could win the whole thing.
I'm out. I'm leaving, guys. I can't decide.
Oh, man.
My goodness.
This is upsetting me.
Me too.
Jake, this is a bad idea.
You came to me. Oh, I guess I decided it actually. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Oh.
in my head, I actually initially just was going to do 1 through 16 and do it that way.
I like
you
two
had to- yeah.
sides. I
Breaking
like
it up,
two
yeah, that was
sides.
better. Yeah, that was better.
This is so tough because obviously we've been talking about like the villain's role in their respective movies, like, and obviously Ra's al Ghul, you know, he has a bigger role to play in Batman Begins than Farrell does in this, but Farrell is so damn good. So I didn't notice this my first viewing, but you guys know when he comes out and he's shooting the machine gun, he's like, "Hey, vengeance!" There's like a horror theme, like
Oh, yeah.
playing. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
like it's like the score during that scene is incredible, and they portray Penguin as being scary, like he don't mess around.
Yeah.
So, Gio, what are you thinking, man? I honestly can't decide.
So
Andy here says this is the most difficult choice so far.
Yeah.
But Farrell was so damn great.
I
It
know.
feels wrong not to pick him.
I know.
And Curtis, to answer your question, is it best villain or performance? It's kind of a combination. It
Yeah.
depends on how you choose to pick this person.
It's exactly whatever you feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
contributes to
preference,
them
really.
being a great villain. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? Rachel makes a good point here. I'm thinking maybe it's kind of how I'm leaning.
I'm sticking with Liam Neeson. Penguin's time will come with Arkham. Interesting. Gio, you got cut off, man. Go ahead.
So here's the thing. Initially, I was like, Colin Farrell's Penguin isn't in the Batman much. But then I thought about Liam Neeson and how much his Ra's al Ghul
Yep.
is in Batman Begins. I just
The
looked it up
beginning and
right
end.
now. He has 16 and a half minutes of screen time
Literally beginning and end.
in
Beginning
No,
and
he
Batman Begins.
end. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So automatically that becomes a wash. So I think
Mhm.
about the performances.
Mm.
Okay, Liam Neeson, we know he's great. Colin Farrell, he's great as well. But then you take into consideration the prosthetics
Yeah.
and what he became Oz, aka Penguin. Whereas you have to, every time you remind yourself Colin Farrell is Penguin, you're like, oh my, I still can't believe it.
Yeah.
With Ra's al Ghul, it's still very much Liam Neeson. So that wow factor isn't necessarily there.
Man,
I'm going to go
Gio?
Colin Farrell Penguin.
You may have convinced me.
So, okay, real quick before Jacob goes, because Jacob's struggling, I can tell. And I'll make it harder by making a decision myself. So it is tough because, and I don't know if you guys actually know this or even any people watching, but Batman Begins is actually my favorite of the three. Of the Dark Knight trilogy.
I knew that. Yeah.
It is my favorite of the three, and a lot of that has to do with the kind of twists and turns of what Ra's al Ghul does in that film and Liam Neeson, and also me at the time not having a lot of reference to who Liam Neeson is compared to what he is now, right? Like Taken and all those action movies he does. He was
Qui-Gon Jinn to us back then.
Yeah, he was just Qui-Gon Jinn, and he was nothing else.
Yeah.
But I will say this, and I've said this publicly: the Batman is my favorite Batman movie ever made, and we would not have gotten the single best car sequence I've seen in maybe 10 years without the Penguin. So I'm going Penguin.
Interesting. Man, but what about that scene when Ra's al Ghul shows up and
at the party,
like, it's revealed that he's still alive and they burn the house down?
Oh, trust me, I know, man. I know.
That because look, I agree with Gio. That's a good point. You can't make the argument that like Ra's al Ghul was in the movie so much more. I think he had a bigger impact on the movie, like as plot wise and how he was the main villain. But man, yeah, we could talk about this all day, but I think I'm gonna decide the winner here. I'm going with Penguin as well. I'm going with Colin Farrell. Because look,
you in the same boat.
What does he say at the end? He's like, "I'll spray paint your ass," like when he and then he doesn't actually shoot him.
Gio fully. Yeah, you convinced me with that. That was you made a good argument. I got to go with Colin Farrell, Penguin. Like that's an epic performance. Like if he was the main guy, like we might be talking Oscar for him. Like,
and we might be talking about him as like on par with Heath Ledger, to be honest. If he was just the main villain of the movie and he had 45 minutes of screen time, like
yeah, it's hard to beat.
All right, well,
Rachel's not giving up.
I love it. Roz has a much bigger impact on Batman. Penguin taught him Spanish. Thank you, Rachel. That's great.
But listen, he's the one that figured that out.
You saw how much I struggled. Like that was the hardest. I can't imagine one being harder. We'll see.
All right, we have our semifinal matchups. Everybody, we got them. 2 1 seeds, 1 2 seed, and 1 3 seed. The first matchup on the left side, the 2 final. We have Paul Dano's Riddler and Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman.
This one is also tough, to be honest. This, like, whatever I decide, it's not easy.
And yes, Harrison, this is our hashtag Final Four. Thank you. We did this because of March Madness, and that's solely because of this gentleman right here. So
we're gonna sing One Shining Moment at the end.
We're down to Riddler. We're down to Catwoman, Jack Nicholson's Joker, and Colin Farrell's Penguin.
Wow.
The final 4.
Oh, what a great 4 to come down to. I love that Michelle Pfeiffer made it this far. I guess to me, Riddler is a straight up villain in this movie. Yeah. And we already talked about all the great things he does, performance, how he future impact. He changed the whole city of Gotham going forward, like at least for the next 5 years or whatever. I love Michelle Pfeiffer, but
Rachel's still calling for Scarecrow.
Yeah, I'm going with Riddler because he's a straight up villain. While she is villainous in this movie, she's not a straight up villain, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who wants to go next?
But it's very close.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Honestly, listen. This was Jake's pick. I didn't even have her on this list, so because I didn't really view her as much.
Look how far she made it.
So no, I agree. That's awesome. No, that's because it's such an epic, like legendary performance.
And I forgot. You guys reminded me that she's trying to straight up murder that dude in the movie. Like,
but see, you know what though?
But so
we're still
so
30 years ago.
Hmm.
We're still talking about her performance here. Do you think we'll remember
Very
Paul
much.
Dano? Do you think we'll remember Paul Dano in 30 years?
Yeah, yes.
In this, I don't.
Well,
We might 30 years from now, we might still be talking about Michelle Pfeiffer in Batman.
let's see where his arc goes in the trilogy. He's definitely going to be back. So let's wait and
point.
see. Let's wait and see.
We're not talking about the future right now. It's Catwoman.
I'm telling you, it wasn't easy for me, but that logic came to my head right away. So
It's freaking Michelle Pfeiffer, man. Come on.
So for you, it's based on performance.
It's based on performance. Yeah. Like I love, trust me, I think that Paul Dano's Riddler is terrifying. I think that he was the perfect fit for this type of Batman story. I've talked about it enough how much I love the detective noir feel of the movie. I understand that. But if we're talking about Colin Farrell in the same length, in the same movie, how much does Paul Dano's Riddler really hold if Colin Farrell's Penguin on the opposite side, who got less screen time and wasn't the main villain, is talked about as just as high fashion? Just a question.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what happens if it comes down to
Catwoman's
Dano,
Michelle Pfeiffer. Put her through.
If it comes down to Dano and Farrell, that would be
the two most recent ones.
I know where I would lean on that one. So
put her through.
I kind of want to go with Michelle Pfeiffer a little bit because
Come on, let's do it.
I have nothing wrong with that.
Let's do it.
It's hard to, again, it's the same thing I said about Colin Farrell. It's hard to beat that. I mean, she put on that suit and became that. She totally changed that. Listen, everything Catwoman from like the 60s, we had 3 different ones, but she kind of embodied all those.
Well,
and
even
more.
after Halle Berry and after Anne Hathaway, no matter what, whenever you think of Catwoman, I just pick. Even now, I still think Michelle Pfeiffer. When I look, Zoe Kravitz is the second best Catwoman ever, but
I think she's the most comic accurate.
But for sure they took liberties with this Catwoman in Batman Returns. But you think of she is Catwoman when I think of her. So I'm gonna go
Gio, what are we doing? Are we pushing Catwoman through, or are we going to the chat?
Because he is Batman, you moron. I'm gonna go with Catwoman.
Go.
Yeah, that's a great
Catwoman.
Nice.
Yeah. Let's go.
It's
I'm not
fucking
hating.
close, but it's Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman.
I'm cheering for you guys. That I'm happy for that.
All right. Well, Catwoman is awaiting the victor of a 1 seed in Jack Nicholson's Joker and a 3 seed in Colin Farrell's Penguin.
Oh man, Keith. I think you're the only one who saw this movie, Batman '89 in theaters.
Not happy about this at all.
Wait till they get a load of me.
Oh no! Oh man!
This is interesting. How does what?
This might be the end of the show.
How does Penguin make it this far? That's and I'm glad he did.
I mean,
oh
man, Rain Man, really? Jack's your least favorite Joker? Wow. Okay. You think Jared Leto's better than Jack?
Man,
Jared Leto is not appreciated enough, and when the haircut is
It's okay. Yeah,
He wasn't given the chance.
He wasn't. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's a good. Yes, absolutely. I couldn't put him ahead of Jack.
Where are we at, guys? What are we doing?
I'm going Jack Nicholson's Joker.
Jack Nicholson. Okay, 1 vote for Joker.
I'm going Joker.
You know what? Joker.
Wow, two for Joker. Gio.
I love Farrell's Penguin though,
Look,
but Joker.
I mean, we've said enough great things about Colin Farrell's Penguin, but there is a lasting impact on Nicholson's Joker.
Yeah.
Not just for DC fans, but for an entire generation. And man,
Jack, and he set the bar. He set the bar for everyone playing Joker after.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Nicholson's Joker.
Damn. I was going Penguin.
They took some major liberties.
Penguin.
Took some major liberties with his character, but it's Jack like. You know, they tricked them into doing it. Remember, they're going to get Robin Williams to. They used Robin Williams to but look what he did. I mean, he should have been nominated for this if he wasn't. You got Colin Farrell, Jake.
I was going Colin Farrell. That's what I was going.
It's no wrong answer.
Because it's Jack Nicholson. I think is my third favorite Joker, if I'm to say on screen. And I know we're not bringing them all into conversation here, but out of all the renditions of Penguin, Colin Farrell's my favorite Penguin, and I think Samir might have said it earlier in the chat, but Colin Farrell Penguin with just the amount of screen time he had, damn near stole the entire Batman movie.
Yeah.
And you know the same can be said for Jack Nicholson's Joker back in '89.
Jack did steal that Batman movie.
Yeah, it was very different, right? It's the true Joker Batman love story that we've never seen before, or never seen after, to that effect. And but yeah, there's just something about the prosthetics and the way that he was portrayed and how like all in Colin Farrell went in on that character. Yeah. But anyway, it doesn't matter because you three fools went with Joker.
Trust me, it pains me to eliminate him.
All right, so we got our final, gentlemen. We got our final. And it comes from the original two Batman movies.
I never would have guessed this is what it came down to.
Number 1 seed of Joker, Jack Nicholson's Joker, up against Michelle Pfeiffer's number 2 seed of Catwoman.
Listen,
wow.
Have you ever danced with the devil by the pale moonlight?
You've been saving this, haven't you?
Yes. They took some, like I said, they took some real liberties with Jack. Obviously, having his character being called Jack Napier and him being the one to kill the Waynes.
Yep.
And then doesn't Batman?
By the way,
push him into the tank too?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that too.
Like they created each other basically.
Yes, and they say that in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I made you. You made me first. Andy, come on. What do you mean?
Apparently, people aren't happy with our finals.
I'm sorry.
It should have been Jim Carrey's Riddler here. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Should have been Riddler versus Penguin for Jake. Oh man.
I'll just say it. I'll say it, and I know you guys are probably gonna pick on. I'm going Catwoman. I think Michelle Pfeiffer. In all the conversations I've had about villains and talking Batman movies and stuff, her name and her performance comes up a hell of a lot more than Jack Nicholson's Joker does, in my opinion. And maybe it's just the conversations that I'm in, but I'm going Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman.
Look, here's the thing. So Joker has been redone and improved upon since this movie, like in as far as interpretations go. In my opinion, it's not our fault that we haven't gotten until Zoe Kravitz basically. Anne Hathaway was fine. We haven't gotten like great depictions of Catwoman. Like, there's with the Jokers, it's a conversation that you can go, obviously Heath is on top, but there's so many great options to choose from. With Catwoman, there's not. So I think Jack Nicholson gets forgotten because we have all these other great Jokers.
Yeah.
She's remembered so much because no one has been able to even come close to playing Catwoman as much as she has. So I think it's kind of unfair to Jack Nicholson's Joker because he gets overshadowed by the other Jokers, and she doesn't get overshadowed by the other Catwomen. And to me, like, we're doing a villains bracket. While she has villainous things about her and she's an antagonist at times in the movie, I think Jack is a true villain. So if it was best character, I would maybe lean Michelle Pfeiffer, but I'm going Joker.
Damn fools.
Listen, Jack Napier, that character, the guy was a psychopath, a complete maniac, even before he was Joker. First of all, let me say Jack versus Heath Ledger, I think it's a lot closer for me than a lot of other people. I'm not saying I would necessarily take him. I think they're kind of even for me.
I feel like I should kick Keith off this stream right now. Is what I'm thinking.
Okay,
Hey, that was his Joker.
That's right. That was my dad. Right. You young punk. Like 10 years before you were born. No, I was kidding. But listen, that was like I said, that was my Joker back then. Like that was like I said, that set the bar for me. So I
All right, Gio.
this Jack.
2 Jokers, 1 Catwoman. Where are you at?
Where am I at? Honestly, for the past 5 minutes, I've still been stuck on Nicholson versus Colin Farrell's Penguin because
You made the wrong decision on that one. That's what you're saying.
fucking.
You suck, Gio.
They both listen. Yeah.
I think Colin Farrell's Penguin should be in the should have been.
Yeah,
in the finals,
yes, it
honestly.
should be.
I think it should have been in the finals.
Yeah.
Well, we can't go back now. So who do you got? Joker,
Between
Catwoman?
these two, I think Jacob, you made a great point about, just how much Michelle Pfeiffer's performance has stood the test of time, and even with different iterations and whatnot. I mean, fuck. Imagine if she showed up in the Flash movie, man. It's
What?
I'm gonna go Pfeiffer's Catwoman. I'm gonna go Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman.
We're gonna get outvoted, Keith, by the chat. This is not fair.
Yeah, because chat's full of people that are even younger than you guys.
She's not. Look, she's not even a villain.
She's not.
Let's go.
There's
So a
just,
non-villain is gonna win our bracket.
Come on, chat. Blow it up.
Jack's
Who you got?
Joker.
Joker,
There's
Catwoman.
something-
Joker, Catwoman.
there's just something about Michelle Pfeiffer. I mean,
Oh, yeah,
Nicholson
of
is great. He's iconic, but there's just something about Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman that just.
Listen, Rain Man, Cesar Romero and his mustache, painted over mustache that he refused to shave. No, we couldn't get him on.
Come on, chat. Come on.
Hold on, wait. I'm seeing a tie.
Come on. There you go, Gordon. Gordon's
Who we
the
got?
Joker. There's one. Catwoman for Samir.
Okay.
Catwoman for John Booze. Joker for Harrison.
Joker.
2-2.
Starters out.
Curtis, Joker. Uh-oh. If we're talking
Okay.
Catwoman for Andy, I'd take Kravitz or
Grey
Grace-
Delisle. Yeah. That's
Easily. Hey, Rachel says Scarecrow.
Scarecrow.
Okay, well,
Wow.
at this point, Joker has a 3-2 lead. Anybody else? Brian with
Brian.
Catwoman? 3-3? We need one more.
Wow.
Who's
Come on,
gonna
everybody.
comment? Who's gonna
Come
comment in
on,
the chat?
everybody.
Catwoman or Joker?
Look up career earnings for either one.
Come on, we need one more vote. Let's go.
Michelle
Come
Pfeiffer
on.
still. She's Janet Van Dyne in the.
Come on, everybody.
I
I know
didn't-
someone's out there.
I
There's
didn't
12
think
of you
this is
watching right now.
What it was
Come on.
going to come down to.
I didn't
There's
either.
12 of you watching, and we have 6 votes. Where the hell are you? We're not flipping a coin, Rachel.
I
Make
thought it
a
was going
choice.
to be Dano versus Joker. I think. I thought that's what it was.
I
gonna
knew
be.
Jack would be here. I wasn't
Yeah.
expecting Catwoman.
Jake, put the banner back up between 1 and 2. Or there it is, right there.
Come on.
Wait, Samir. Did you vote twice?
I didn't count his. Technically, Brian is right because he is part of the channel, but
You know what? Yeah.
Mm.
yeah, it doesn't sit well with Jacob though. I can tell.
Well, if we
Oh,
would have
yeah.
established that from the beginning, Brian in the chat breaks tiebreakers, then yeah. At this point,
We're
Well, it's
really not
tough.
going to get one more vote from someone.
Do
Rain
we have a
Man,
draw?
Star Drew, you haven't voted yet.
Do we want to
They're
put it on
like,
Twitter? We
come
carry it
on.
over. Carry over to next
come on,
week.
Star Drew, you can decide this. You can decide this.
Put it to vote. I'm gonna put it to vote on.
If no one votes, we're going to put a Twitter poll out tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, Rachel, I'm going to go
Oh.
woman power. Catwoman.
Ooh, there it is.
Look, I'm not mad either way.
Rachel, you're my hero.
I love both of them, so why not?
we're gonna get. Honestly, I don't know. Everyone loves me. There's nobody who doesn't love.
What I'm going to do tomorrow, because in our bracket tonight, officially, Catwoman takes the dub up against Jack Nicholson's Joker. What I'm going to do tomorrow on Twitter is I'm going to put a poll of our final four and see where the percentages go. So everybody who's on Twitter, who follows the Apocaflix movie account on Twitter, go and share, retweet, like, vote, please. We'd love to get you guys' thoughts on the final four that we have. But as for tonight, Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman reigns supreme. Gio, you're my hero. Thank you, man.
I'm licked back to life by cats.
I'm surprised myself. And everybody out there, this is just for fun. All of these, most of these are great villains. Like
100%.
Great. I mean, there's a reason why Batman has arguably the best rogues gallery. It's not just the comics, but the live action portrayals as well, whether it's TV or in movies.
How many did we have total? 16?
16
on here?
It's funny, when doing this, I've actually thought about doing a rogues gallery where it's Batman versus Spider-Man's rogues gallery.
Ooh.
We can do that next.
And you put them up against each other.
Well, I was going to say, even Spider-Man, I don't even know, like, can you put together 16? I guess you could if you choose, like, the miniature.
You could probably put together 8. You
got the Sinister Six. And that,
but you can also do like
Venom, Carnage.
I'll do it on YouTube, Brian. Good call.
The thing with
I'll do it on both. I'll do it on
both. He shares villains with other, like, because Kingpin is a Spider-Man villain.
Yeah, I mean,
we would do in the movies, right?
If we figure it out, if we figure it out one day, it would just be probably 8 from each, and we put 4 on each side. Essentially, is what we would do.
Wait a minute. So you guys are trying to do Marvel versus DC, and y'all get at me for.
What are you talking about?
Here we go. Anyway, we have one last thing to talk about here before we head out, because there are viewers here before we start with plugs. We officially hit 5K on YouTube, guys. Pretty big deal. For a small channel like us, that's obviously a big thing. We're going at this for a long time. It's been, for Jacob and Gio and I, it's been what, damn near 8 years?
8 years, yeah.
2014.
Yeah, close to it, 2014, and then Brian and Keith joined in 2016. So, 5,000 subscribers. It's awesome. You know, we're still very small, but we have our loyal followers, all 10, 12 of you that pop in here each week. You guys are great. We love talking with you guys each and every week on all of our shows. So thank you so much for the support. The last 2 years have been great for us, and if you guys could share and all that good stuff, we'd love to get more people in here and chatting up on a weekly basis. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for tonight, everybody. I'm going to let everybody do their quick plugs before we head out. Keith, you got something to say?
I was going to say, listen, I pointed it out, I think, our last milestone, or one of our last milestones, but listen, when the day Infinity War came out is when we hit 500. I always remember that. It's,
think of that. 2019, we had 500 subscribers.
Yeah, and that was a big deal to us.
That was huge. I know. We were so happy.
Didn't we go out and celebrate that? I think we did.
Probably.
Yeah, we did.
I don't remember.
We're gonna celebrate this too.
Bunch of youngins, rookies.
Thank everyone so much. That's so great.
All right, Jacob, start us off. Where can everyone find you online?
Yes, on Twitter at Jacob Bartley824. And First Round Fantasy is coming back. We're gonna start ramping up here in April. If you play fantasy football, you can find us there. We'll start covering a lot of stuff here coming up in April.
And Mr. Gio.
On Twitter at Fandom United 21 and separate YouTube channel, Fandom United. I did a video a couple of months ago on Mel Gibson, and I criticized him. And for the past 2 weeks, I've been getting a lot of comments all of a sudden about that. And it's just like, you know, tiki torches and everything. The mob is coming after me. So I don't know. I just had to put that out there.
Interesting.
And Mr. Keith Barnes.
Hey, thank you, everyone. We love you all. Like I said, we're watching, subscribing, sharing, all that stuff. Rachel, Stardrew, Samir. You know, Samir, I didn't know you were a Cowboys fan. That's upsetting. But find me on Twitter at Keith Barnes 79. You can find me hanging out with Gio on his channel. Me and Jacob have our own channel, Bartley and Barnes. Latest episode just went up last week. We talked about the Batman and some other stuff. And yeah, of course, here each week on Apocaflix now.
Keith needs his own show.
I've got so many ideas. I've kicked around so many ideas. I don't know which one to focus on. I know.
Myself at Qui-Gon Jake, 2 N's. Someone else took it before I did. You can find me on A Certain Point of View now that Schmodown Season 9 is officially here. Brian and myself are there each and every week breaking down Schmodown stuff. I also do a little channel of my own called The Whiskey Jedi, where I'm talking whiskey, talking Star Wars, and a bunch of other things that I love talking about. I just recently had Alex and Molly Damon on from Star Wars Explained, which was a real treat. Absolute blast. And if you're interested in Marvel stuff, my fiance Gabby has never seen any of the MCU stuff. And the first 4 movies are up. Captain America, the First Avenger comes out this week. And then we'll be doing a live watch along to the Avengers. So go check those out. It's a blast. She's got some crazy reactions, y'all. So, but yeah, again, to everyone who watches, seriously, thank you guys. I'd love to name all of you off, but there's a lot of you. To all 12 of you who are here the entire time, thank you so much for supporting the channel. We are small, but we are mighty sometimes. And we love having the loyalness for you guys. It's been an absolute blast. We really, really appreciate it. So on behalf of all of us, thank you. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and we'll catch you guys next time.